Alright guys, welcome back to Dice Throne, and today we're going to be looking at a quick tutorial of how to play the Barbarian. This is a level 1 character. What that basically means, as you can see here, complexity is scored on a scale of 1 to 6. The D6, a 6-sided die, 1 for least complex, 6 most complex. So basically, the Barbarian is the easiest character to learn and play in this game. He has the lowest amount of writing possible. Most of his abilities are just boom, 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 one sentence or more. The most complicated ability is, of course, Overpower, which we'll get to. But basically, the best thing to understand is that the Barbarian is the easiest character to play. If it is your first game in Dice Throne, more likely than not, you want to play him so you can learn the game quickly. So, how does the Barbarian work? Well, first, looking at his board, you can see here he's got 2 multimodal Dice Throne dice abilities. This basically means that there's three or more different ways to activate this ability, and it is Smack and Fortitude. Smack meaning if you roll 3 swords, you can deal 4, 4 swords you deal 6, and 5 swords you deal 8. Now swords are the dice symbols 1, 2, and 3. Each symbol on his dice is every single number is a symbol. 1 through 3 is a sword, 4 and 5 are hearts, and then 6 is the POW symbol. So if you roll, let's say, a 1, 3, 3, 1, then you can deal 6 damage because you've technically rolled 4 swords. 1s are swords, 3s are swords. If it's a 1, 1, 4, 4, 4, you can't activate Smack because you need at least 2 swords. You only rolled a 1 and 2 1s, so you only have 2 swords. But you can't activate Fortitude, because if we set this to a 4, if you roll 4s or 5s, if you roll 3 4s, 3 5s, or 3 4s and 5s, then you can heal for 4. Obviously, if you roll 4 hearts, you heal 5, and for 5, you heal 6. So it's basically, you can either deal damage with swords or heal yourself with hearts. Makes sense. But now we get into the more medium dice rolls. We have 2 swords and 2 POWs. Remember, POWs can only be rolled if you roll 6s. So you can roll 2 1s, 2 3s, or 2 2s, or you can roll a 1 and a 3, 2 and a 3, or a 3 and a 1. It doesn't matter what combination, as long as it's a 1, 2, 3 for the swords, and 2 6s. So if you roll 2 6s, you may want to look at Sturdy Blow. For rolling those 2 6s, you can deal 4 undefendable damage. Undefendable damage is different from regular damage in the fact that characters cannot roll their defensive attack. Whenever you're attacked in Dice Throne, the person you're attacking gets to roll defensive, and they get to roll this defensive and do whatever it is that the defensive roll does for them when attacked. Undefendable damage counters that. Basically, undefendable damage skips the defensive roll phase of an opponent you're attacking, so they basically don't get to roll defense against your damage type. So you're basically just dealing 4 damage to them outright, and they can't do anything about it. So what if Sturdy Blow you want to do more than just that? Well, we get to Overpower. Overpower is basically the same as Sturdy Blow, except you need 3 swords and 2 6s to be able to attack this. And Overpower is the most complicated ability in the Barbarian set. Yes, he's a very simple character. Simplest character in the game so far. So Overpower, instructs you to roll 3 dice. So when you activate this ability, instead of just having a set damage type like the other ones, where you heal 5, heal 6, deal 4 undefendable damage, deal 4, 5, 6 damage, this one instructs you to roll 3 dice like so, and then you're going to add up the total amount of damage, the total roll value of the 3 dice you rolled, which 3, 9, 10, and deal the total roll value damage. So basically, if you rolled a 10 like I did, you do all of this in defendable damage. So Overpower can either give you a max of 18 if you roll 3 6s, or a minimum of 3 if you roll 3 1s. So it's a very chance-based attack. You're either lucky or you're not. But this also has a little bit of a twist, because if you're super lucky, meaning that if you roll at least a 14, so let's say this was a 4, let's see, that was, yeah, 5. so 5, 8, 14, you also inflict concussion. So concussion is what we call a status effect. The Barbarian has 2 status effects. These status effects are inflicted by attacks. Both are negative, so both of them are inflicted on opponents and they weaken the opponent they're put on. For concussion, when an opponent, a player with this token, so let's say you dealt at least 14 damage. If the combined roll value is at least 14, you also inflict concussion. So on your opponent's next turn, when they're inflicted with concussion, they skip their income phase, which, as we know in Dice Zone, allows you to gain 1 CP and draw 1 card from their deck during income. If they have concussion, they remove the concussion token, and then they skip their income phase, meaning that they don't get an extra CP or draw a card that turn. So very powerful. So yes, overpowered. You can be lucky or unlucky, but if you're extra lucky, rolling at least 14 for your total roll value, then you get to also take away an opponent's next income phase, which is very nice. Alright, now we get over to the fun side of the board. We have your defensive roll here. Basically, whenever you're attacked, let's say he's getting attacked for 6 damage, he's going to roll 3 dice. 3 dice as so. When you roll your 3 dice for your defensive roll, he rolled 1 heart. You heal 2 damage for each heart. So since he rolled 1 and he's being targeted with 6 damage, he only takes 4. So that's what the defensive roll does. And you can do that every time he's attacked by defendable damage, but if he's attacked by undefendable damage, he can't roll that ability. Also, ultimate damage is different. We'll talk about that when we get to it, but essentially it's just better than undefendable damage. So now we have Mighty Blow and Reckless, Small Straight and Large Straight. We've all played poker and other dice-related games like Yahtzee. A small straight is 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, 4 numbers in one. 4 numbers in a row numerically. Large straight is the same thing, except it's 5 numbers in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So small straight is theoretically easier because there's 3 possible rolls that you can roll to get a small straight, while large straight is almost impossible. I'd say it's either second or third hardest roll to get in this game, which is because you can only get 2 combinations and it's very hard to do otherwise. So for Mighty Blow, it's a simple, if you get a small straight, you deal 9 damage, so 9 defendable damage. But Reckless has a little twist. So Reckless, for the large straight, let's say you activate the large straight, you deal 15 but receive 4 in return. This basically means you're dealing 15 damage to an opponent, but you take 4 undefendable damage back in return. What this 4 damage means is that you can't roll defensive on this damage, you just are essentially doing damage to yourself by activating this attack. So you take 4 damage, but you deal 15 to your opponent. And this little thing at the bottom says that return damage only applies if at least 1 damage was successful. So let's say an opponent was able to dodge your attack and dodge all 15 damage. Well, then you don't take that 4 damage because it only works if at least 1 of the damage dealt by this attack was successfully dealt to an opponent. So if they avoid your attack fully, you don't take the damage. And then Crit Bash is similar to Sturdy Bro, except you deal 5 undefendable damage, and you also inflict an opponent with Stun. So let's see what Stun does. Stun basically means you perform another roll offensive. Basically, a player afflicted with this token is not going to take any actions of any time. Basically, what happens is that you basically... This basically means that an opponent inflicted with this token, let's say you take an offensive roll phase, like so. A player with this ticket will take no actions of any kind, so basically nothing. So after the attack concludes, the opponent, which is now inflicted with stun, removes the token and then immediately targets the same opponent with an additional offensive roll phase. So basically, Barbarian stuns someone, removes this token, and then targets that player that was affected by the stun with another roll phase. So basically, that opponent doesn't get to do damage. They don't get to activate their defensive ability. they just get attacked by a another Barbarian roll offensive phase. So basically, Barbarian gets to hit them with 2 attacks in one, and they only get to defend against the second one. So basically, the first attack, Crit Bash, is completely going to happen, and it might as well just have defendable damage because they can't do anything when inflicted with stun. So they take 5 damage, and then Barbarian gets to do his roll phase over again. And of course, Crit Bash, as you can see, takes 4 6s, so you have to roll 4 6s to activate Crit Bash, which is the second rarest ability and second most powerful ability because it basically gives you 2 attacks in 1 turn. But then we have Rage, which not only inflicts stun again, so after this ability you get to do another ability, so 2 attacks in 1 turn, but you also deal 15 ultimate damage. Ultimate damage is undefendable damage because it has the red circle, as you can see. So it has the red circle, so it's undefendable. But ultimate damage cannot be blocked, prevented, avoided, or dodged. You cannot null ultimate damage. It is unknowable. Once it is dealt, it cannot be undead. Deal. So, no defensive, no tokens, no companions, nothing. Ultimate damage happens, and there is nothing your opponent can do about it. So just keep that in mind. Any damage done by an ultimate that doesn't say collat or pure damage or isolated damage is finite. It happens, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it. But that's basically it. So with the Barbarian, he's a very simple character, as you can see. Most of his abilities just have text that say deal X amount of damage. Some say heal X, heal 4, heal 5, heal 2 per heart rolled. But then there's some of them that have some extra effects. Remember, roll 3, deal that total roll value and damage. If the value is at least 14, inflict concussion. Some have inflict stun, like the 2 highest, rarest amount of attacks. And then Reckless is its own unique thing where you deal 15, take 4 if your attack is successful. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you guys, as always. Remember to like this video and subscribe down below if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys when the next Dice Throwing Hero. Toodaloo!